Welcome to How to Do Online Group Coaching. If you are a coach and you've been working successfully one-on-one, you may be wondering how to leverage your time and make more money and have a bigger impact by going to a group model. Now, this video isn't about how to sell or market a group model. I have videos about that, but this particular video is really how to do the coaching itself, how to show up on a group coaching call and what to do on it. Now, before I dive into how to do that, I do want to take a moment and just maybe change a little bit of your perception about group coaching. A lot of times coaches, and I had this issue myself, believe that one-on-one coaching is more valuable than group coaching. We have this belief that because it takes more of our time and because it takes more of our effort, that we should charge more for one-on-one and that it's more valuable. Now, the truth is that some clients, maybe even most clients, may perceive one-on-one coaching as more valuable. I would invite you to consider that actually group coaching can be way more valuable than individual. And the reason for that is that there's magic in the group that you couldn't possibly deliver on your own. One really important thing to remember is that it isn't necessarily true that group coaching is somehow less valuable than one-on-one coaching. And I come across this belief all the time, and I had it myself when I started doing group coaching. This belief that somehow one-on-one coaching, because it's more intimate, that because I could dedicate more of my attention and time to one person, that somehow it would generate better results. Now, I do believe that there is importance for one-on-one coaching, and I still do one-on-one coaching with my clients. And I've also found that group coaching online can generate different results that I could never deliver on my own because the group provides a lot of things. Number one, when you gather a really wonderful group of people together, there's knowledge, experiences, best practices that people in that group have access to that you don't. I call it the magic of the group. Another thing is that a group naturally creates more accountability. People might procrastinate or might blow off certain tasks when they're not being witnessed by others that they won't blow off when they are being witnessed by others. And that's why one of the biggest benefits of group coaching, one of the biggest practices that I've brought into my group coaching is a practice called witnessing. Now, this is a practice that came from my spiritual work with Nanilea Diamond. I've talked a lot about her, that I've brought into my business work. And the concept of witnessing, what it is to really engage everyone in the group when we're doing group work together in witnessing a person who's sharing. So let's pretend I'm doing some sort of coaching with someone in a hot seat, which I'll talk about in a minute what those are and how to do them, that the other people, the way that they can derive value from that hot seat is by paying close attention and witnessing what that person is activating and maybe even allowing that same thing to activate in themselves. So for example, if someone that I'm working with and I'm coaching is having an aha moment about a realization of a relationship they've had with their mother or their father and how that's impacting their relationship with money, I might, in the middle of doing that, just remind everybody, hey, everybody, what are you witnessing here? What are you observing? What are you seeing? And what is this activating in you? And so right there, you're having this incredibly powerful activation with this one person, and everyone else in the group is also getting value from it. So witnessing is one of my kind of practices that goes throughout all of these different how to group coach strategies that I'm going to share with you. Now, before I dive into my actual ways that I do group coaching, I do want to invite you to take a moment to like this video, subscribe to my channel, maybe even post a comment below. Now, the first way that you can do online group coaching or group coaching in any format really is the typical kind of talking head format. This is actually my least favorite approach, but this is the one that I most often see. The talking head format is basically a group coaching call with all your people, and you show up and talk. and share information and pontificate. Now, I do this sometimes, but I don't like to spend the entire call doing it, and I certainly don't do it on every single call. But what this is basically a way of conveying information. And as you know, I like to say information is not transformation. So I propose that you keep this to a minimum. The second thing you can do, which is usually what I do on the back side of some sort of talking head format, is discussion, where basically you introduce a topic, maybe share a few key points, and then open it up to discussion. Now, again, this is a really common thing that people do in group coaching, and it's one of my lesser favorite things. It's better than a straight up talking head, but discussions, as we know, can sometimes devolve into lots of different people trying to take up airspace. So another thing that I like to do instead, in addition to, this is one of my favorite structures, is hot seat format. Now, a hot seat format is a live, interactive experience where we've got one person in the hot seat, and really I try to choose somebody who's representative of something that everyone in the group is struggling with. And then throughout the hot seat, where I'm helping this one person with their issue, I'm taking opportunities inside of that to highlight for everyone else what this might look like for them. Taking this one example and really making relevant to the rest of the group. Another thing that I like to do that's kind of in the same vein as a hot seat is a materials review. Now, this may or may not be relevant to what you coach on, but in my world where I'm coaching on branding and marketing, a lot of times people have a website or a brochure or a new program that they're rolling out, and I invite them to bring that in so that we can all look at the materials and I and the other people in the group can give feedback on it. Now, another structure that I love a lot, this is one of my favorites, is a mastermind structure. Now, masterminds are where you tap into the collective wisdom of the group. Now, you can do a mastermind with everybody participating in one mastermind, or you can break people out into smaller groups for masterminding. But essentially, in a mastermind, one person shares their issue, their challenge, their idea, whatever it is that they're looking for feedback on, and then everybody in the group participates and gives them some feedback. Now, the problem that you might find with masterminds is that people sometimes don't know how to give feedback very effectively, and sometimes people don't know how to receive feedback very effectively. So with a mastermind, you really want to make sure to set up guidelines so that it's really clear how you want people communicating. For example, in my masterminds, I create a guideline that we don't tell people what they should do. We don't use the word should. We have a rule that we use instead the language, I invite you to consider X. I invite you to consider trying this. I invite you to consider checking that out, trying this tool, moving this text this way, or saying it this way instead. So we are always making suggestions, never ever making commands. Another technique that I like to use are showcases. So a showcase is where basically you pull forward one client who's already achieved the result that everyone else wants to achieve, and you highlight them and you showcase what it is that they did. So you go back and do basically a case study of a successful client so that you can model for others what that success was driven by and how they can model that success themselves. I hope this was helpful for you. And if you're interested in structuring, designing, rolling out a group coaching program, and you're not quite sure how to do it, or you simply want my eyes on it, then go ahead to superstaractivator.com/go and learn about my programs and services and how you can set up a discovery call with yours truly.